I was afraid of mail. It was bills and evictions. That's all mail was growing up. Growing up, no one told me this was wrong. I thought I was successful. I was providing for myself. I remember when the church was small, we didn't have our own building. Had a little Ford Escort wagon, and he would throw everything. He would throw the church. The church would be inside and on top of his car mounted. But anyways, like eventually it hit me that there's more to life.
Break every chain, to break every chain, break every chain, break every chain.
My name is Travis Alpert. I'm from Lynn, Massachusetts. My childhood was pretty complicated. My mother had pretty severe drug addiction and with some pretty hardcore drugs. My sister and brother would like steal food, from the markets and stuff in convenience stores, or wherever, to make sure we ate. That's kind of what I remember from home. One of the most probably vivid memories was being removed from the home. I remember that day. I remember getting into the car. I remember being in the car seat, and I had no idea what was going on. I was actually excited, that I was going for a ride in a car. My brother, he was so ticked off. He was in the front seat. He was kicking the dashboard, and I was, why are you upset? We're going for a ride. This is exciting, And he was just so mad and silent and tears of anger and stuff. And they dropped me off at my first foster home. I met them, and then the people who brought me there left, and it was oh, okay, and it was every single time I would start to, love the family and be one of them, and them love me, and then it was next home, start all over. And so I felt a lot of loss. I felt a lot of not a sense of belonging, worthlessness, that I wasn't worth keeping, or that something was wrong with me. All kinds of different group homes and foster homes, and I lived in Dorchester for I think 9 months, and that family was great. They held me down. That was the first foster home that I felt was family to me, and that I was family. And they brought me to. It was the first time I was at a church that had drums and people clapping and celebrating. So I remember them, barbecues and family get-togethers. Yeah, I remember I was in a residential for 2 years. That was tough. It was I pretty much lived in a cell for 2 years with max security rules. That was intense. But I learned how to play guitar then, and that's something that has really been an anchored music and kind of it's helped transform my life. It's played a big part. It's been wild, like I said, I was at the time I was living in this drug lab, and I had mail all over the ground, all over the hallway, and scattered because I was afraid of mail. It was bills and evictions. That's all mail was growing up, and I had offices that handled it because I was in programs and just followed the rules. But I would step over the Sunday circulars and flyers and coupons every day, but one day I noticed this flyer, and it was Hip Hop Sunday at East Coast International Church. When I saw that flyer, I remembered the name, and I said, oh, and it said East Coast International. I said, oh, ECIC, I know those people. They're super fun and friendly, and oh man, the band rocks. I was invited to this hip hop event at the church, and at the time, that was the peak of my interest, was hip hop. And at the peak of my interest and the peak of my mess in my life, God met me through this hip hop flyer. He knew me, and it was perfect. So I started meeting with the band on Thursday night, and that's when it hit me. This is a real thing. This faith, they call it the light of salvation. That's real. And when I saw these people joking and laughing and even busting each other's chops, everything they did, there was this light in it. Adam, he helped me develop musically, but while he was developing me musically and while I was hanging with the band, like he never judged me, he never condemned me. I remember him dropping me off outside of my house that like was a drug lab at the moment. You know, the decorations you put on your door during Christmas or Halloween or whenever, and you can put this little plastic thing over your door and it's a decoration. Well, mine was a Halloween one, and it was a witch stirring the cauldron, which was kind of ironic or metaphorical of like literally what was going on inside. I was stirring a cauldron and like stirring up my own darkness and chaos, you know, like that I was gonna distribute. And anyways, so he drops me off one day after worship practice. Like I said, like I joined the church, I joined the music, and then nobody ever told me what I was like. Not saying nobody in the church, because they didn't even know I had this life, but growing up, no one told me this was wrong. I thought I was successful, I was providing for myself, I was, you know. But anyways, like eventually it hit me that there's more to life, and that like I need to change. But Adam, through his love for me and not condemning me, as he's dropping me off to the house, and like I said, he has no idea what's going on inside, but he looks at the witch cauldron on the door and stuff like that, and it's February. And so he looks at it and he says to me, and this, like God spoke through him. He said to me, it was simple. He said, "Don't you think it's time to take that down?" I looked at it and I looked at him and I said, "When I'm ready." And he was like, "All right, bro, have a good day, you know, whatever." And I went into my house and it rocked my world. Like him saying that was like, to me, was like, I heard from God, it was like, don't you think it's time to let go of that life? And oh my gosh, and I did. Worship was huge, because I was involved in the music. So I mean, I'd be singing truths, you know? The miracle of Christ in me is the mystery that sets me free. I'm nothing like I used to be. Just open up your eyes, you'll see. And that was the truth.
Break every chain, break every chain. To break every chain, break every chain, break every chain. There is wonder